It's the middle of 2020. I'm sat there in the living room with a bunch of other brown people around me because we're having this kind of gathering at my house in my apartment. And so I can hear the aunties inside. There's the one fat auntie giving health advice to everyone. There's my dad and like a bunch of his friends on the other side. But I'm not paying attention to any of that. My mind is just focused on one thing because in the middle of the room, right in front of the couch, there's this table filled with a tray of samosas. If you're not brown, it's basically just this like fried thing with potatoes in it. And I'm hyper focused on that bowl of samosas because in my mind there's this fight. It's like the angel and devil on each of my shoulders. One of them saying, "Don't eat it. You want to get jacked, right? You literally told yourself earlier you want to get jacked. You want to start losing fat. You want to get good at soccer. You don't want to feel behind everyone else." But then there's this other voice in my head that's just telling me, you know what? I can just have one. There's like 15 of them. I'll just have one of them. It's fine. Nobody's going to notice. So I go over to the table. Nobody really notices me. I have one. But as I'm sat there just having the first one and I finish it, I'm like, you know what? There's still like 14 left. I'll have another one. I'll have another one. But by the time I finish my second samosa, it's like there's this dam that breaks inside of me. This flood of desire, this feeling that I'm chasing. Because the truth is, up until this point, I've been fat shamed almost every single day when I go to school. I feel like I'm behind everybody else. I feel like I'm below everybody else when I'm talking to them. And so this is my feeling of comfort. This is my escape. This is the thing that makes me feel good. So at this point, I have no internal voice anymore. I just have another one. And another samosa. I'm at 5, 6. At this point, people are starting to look at me around the room. But it's not until I have my 7th samosa that I quickly look over at my dad and he's watching me with this annoyed, like angry expression. So I do the logical thing that anybody does. I get up and I go to my room. And I'm about to get my iPad to just go and play some video games and wait for everybody to leave. Until I hear my door creak open. And my dad stood there in the doorway, looking at me with this confused, pissed off expression where he's just like, Atharv, you just ate half of the samosas. That was supposed to be for everybody. And at this point, I'm just trying to tune him out and just trying to get him out of the room as fast as possible. Until he says this this one sentence that gets burned into my memory. He goes, Atharv, if you keep eating like this, you're not even going to be able to play soccer on the team anymore. And as he walks out of the room, I'm hit with this feeling of shame, this feeling of disappointment, anger at myself. Why can't I just control myself? So I do the logical thing that any fat kid does in this scenario. I go to my bathroom and I throw up all the food. And so a couple minutes later, as I'm cleaning up, I look into the mirror and I just think to myself, why is this fat kid in the mirror? Why am I like this? Why is it so difficult for me to just stay in control of myself? Why can't I make any progress when I'm trying to lose fat? I have tears in my eyes at this point. And I'm telling you that story right there because I know what it's like to feel helpless when you're trying to lose fat. When I looked at myself in the mirror back then, I would literally sometimes punch myself in the stomach because I hated the way I looked. I was dissatisfied. I hated being fat shamed. I hated feeling beneath everybody else in my friend group for good reason. I'm telling you this because in this video, what I want to do is I want to give you exactly what I had to do to make this journey feel like this grind, this full-time job that you're not able to keep up with, to something that's just a little bit more enjoyable. Because if I could just make this journey for you 10% less agonizing, less painful, you would be way more likely to actually follow through. And so after losing over 17 pounds and actually improving my life, I'm going to give you the exact steps that I took to make this journey feel way easier now. I'm still on this journey. I'm still trying to lose fat. But this could probably be the most useful video you're going to watch on this topic because everybody else online, they haven't even been fat before. They don't know what it's like to be you. So when I tell you that this advice works. I know it does because I've used it, and I know that it can change your life because it changed mine. Now, quick disclaimer now before we get into the video. If you expect me to tell you this quick way to just skip all of the pain, all of the grind, to just get to the end reward as quick as possible, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm not going to BS you. There is no shortcut. There really isn't. And so most people, when they make these videos, they're going to try and edge you for the next 10 minutes and say, no, there's this quick way to make fat loss easy. But it doesn't exist. You've probably watched videos like that already, and I'm telling you the truth. I watched those videos for years. But nothing changed. Nothing improved. Nothing that they said was actually going to effectively make me lose fat. Because what those guys are doing is they're creating this false narrative that there is some way to lose fat that's easy, that's quick, that's effortless, that's less painful. But I'm not going to give you that promise because, dude, when you try and escape the pain, what you're going to end up doing is you're just going to hyperfixate on the reward, on the easiest way to lose fat. And so, of course, you're just going to stay stuck because you're not doing the things that will make you lose the fat. You're just trying to skip ahead and do the breathing technique that some random Asian's going to give you. And it's just going to waste your time. So, right now, what you need to do is just understand that this journey is going to be painful. I'm just trying to minimize that for you. But you're still going to have to put in effort. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Let's get right into it. So why was fat loss so difficult for me? And it took me 4 years until I learned this. And when I did, it actually made this journey feel way easier. Now, the thing about trying to lose fat is that the journey is very good at kicking you in the balls. It's very good at screwing with your motivation because I like to compare it to a video game quest. In a real video game, right? You know exactly what you need to do to get to the next level. You know exactly how many bosses you need to kill, what materials you need. You know the time frame. You can see the progress being made every time you do something. But fat loss is like the complete opposite. Like in a video game, what you might expect, usually, is that the results look something like this graph right here, where you do a little bit of effort, and there's a consistent amount of progress that you're making, right? So you basically make this straight line of progress. And that is the most motivating type of progress that you're ever going to make. But the truth is, you don't get that with trying to lose fat. And so what I would do is, I had this fantasy, this delusion while watching these videos where I would see these people saying how to make fat loss feel like a video game or whatever. And I expected the same fast results that they would promise. Like in a video game, I expected that, okay, if I do a workout, I should see at least a little bit of results. If not, I guess I might just kill myself and go and play some more video games. But fat loss is like a quest where there is no level bar. There is no tracker that'll show you, okay, you're this close to losing this amount of fat. In fact, you might even work out for a month, consistently actually hitting these workouts. You might quit these addictions to junk food and scrolling, and you get into productive habits. But nothing changes. And so what ends up screwing with people the most isn't just, oh my God, fat loss is difficult. It's that you're putting in these actions, you're putting in effort, but you're not seeing any result. And this is the phase that I like to call the valley of disappointment. Because what fat loss really looks like is it's this graph where you don't see any results, even though you're putting in effort, until the certain point. The certain point where you look into the mirror and you see, wait a minute, my double chin is really low now. Wait, what the hell? You look at pictures from before, and then you see, oh my God, I'm way less bloated now. Yo, this is actually sick. That's the point where suddenly this journey just becomes really easy. You have to understand this. The pain that you're feeling right now only lasts while you're here. Okay? When you actually get past that point, suddenly ask anybody who's actually been working out consistently. They'll tell you it's not even that difficult now. And again, I'm not like super jacked or anything, right? But I've made progress. I've made enough progress to tell you that the only point that's going to mess you up the most is this valley where you don't see any results. So how do we get past that? Well, you need to rewire your mindset. And there's an exact way you need to do this. But here's the thing. When you focus on trying to lose fat, what do we tend to usually fixate on? Well, we think, okay, we need to track how much progress we're making. So let me look at the scale every morning. Oh my God, I lost 0.05 kilograms. I'm actually like, you realize just how fragile of a statistic to measure that is, right? When you try and hyperfixate on your day-to-day progress by looking at, oh my God, well, the number on the scale went up. No, it's retarded. Because this whole point over here is going to feel like there's no progress being made. But then you'll have people telling you, oh, aim to lose 1 pound a week. That's the right thing to do. Don't even look at the scale, dude. When you're going through this journey, what you have to understand, by this I mean the valley of disappointment, it's going to pass eventually. The time is going to pass. So what I had to understand was, rather than focusing on the output, you have to instead look at the input, the thing that you're actually doing to make the fat loss happen. And you might be thinking, wait, that's retarded. I already know that. But the truth is, when you try and lose fat and you stay fixated on just the results, you're going to be disappointed. Your brain is going to start screwing with you. Your monkey brain is going to think, wow, I'm not making any progress. Let's go back to Genshin Impact where I was making a lot of progress. And then you're just going to stay stuck. So instead, what I had to do was I had to say, okay, I can actually work out for 20 minutes and I know it's going to take exactly 20 minutes. So why not just measure that? It could take you 4 months to actually see any progress. So why not just track the inputs, the things that you're actually doing? And once you realize how powerful this is, you're going to understand how to make fat loss easier. Now, this is also going to be interesting because most people have this one question, this huge question they're trying to ask. Atharv, how long is it actually going to take me to lose fat? And what they're really trying to ask is, how long is this valley of disappointment going to last? When am I going to start seeing results? When's the motivation just going to kick in and I'm going to grow 4 inches down there? I cannot answer that for you. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter. It could take you 2 months. It could take you 2 years. The time is going to pass by anyways, right? So don't you see how retarded it is to track the results? Like for YouTube, imagine if I woke up every single day and my sole focus was I woke up and I looked at the YouTube studio and I was like, wait a minute. No, I didn't get any more subscribers. I guess I might just go goon now. Like there would be no logic in me doing that. Because the output depends on my input. Are my videos getting better? Am I improving myself so I can give more value to you? These are the things that I should track. And those are the things that will give me the most results. And it's the same thing with trying to lose fat. Now, here's what's really interesting. When you try and ask these questions, like, oh, how long is it going to take? Here's the interesting thing. The fastest way to lose fat is to forget about how long it's going to take. That's the fastest way to lose fat. The fastest way, the easiest way to lose fat is to accept it's going to be more painful than you thought. Until you do that, you're going to stay stuck in this position. Now, I will give you this one method that I used to make the valley of disappointment seem way less painful. And this is the exact thing I did. I use this method called the Daily Quest method. And over here, I've written down, stop focusing on the final boss, which is like losing fat. Instead, focus on the daily action that you're going to do that you can measure and track that. So what I did was I just took a piece of paper and I wrote down, okay, these are the habits that I'm going to do. And so every single time I worked out, even if it was just a little bit, because again, you have to realize you're at level 3 right now. So your actions also measure or match up with your level right now. So if you've never studied for the last 2 years on your own, well, don't try and make yourself study for an hour and a half. Study for 5 minutes and then tick off the box. And then you might think, Atharv, that's not going to do anything. 5 minutes isn't going to do anything. It will. What it will do is it will give you the reps. And every single time you get 5 minutes of reps in, it's like you added 1 XP to your level bar. And if you remember, in every start of a video game, it only takes a couple of XP to level up. So after a week of doing this daily quest consistently, what you're going to find is that now you've leveled up and you can double the amount of time you're doing it. So now instead of 5 minutes, make it 10 minutes, then 20, the next week 30, next week 45. You slowly increase the level of difficulty as your own level goes up. That's how you keep fat loss from becoming this full-time self-torture. Forget about the result. Focus entirely on the input and match the input level to the difficulty that you can actually hit consistently. Now, there's one more thing I want to give you, because right now I just sort of spewed you a lot of advice. And it's a story that really illustrates why I was stuck for so long. And more importantly, why most people never make any progress. Because I was sat there one day in grade 8. This was back during the period when I was actually making a good amount of progress. I'd lost like 8 or 10 pounds at this point. And I was talking to one of my friends who was trying to get on a bulk, which is basically where you essentially try and build muscle, because he was kind of skinny. And he says to me something that genuinely made me almost hold in laughter. He goes, Atharv, I think I have a fast metabolism. I don't think I can build any muscle. I was like, okay, like, what, did the universe just tell you, no, you can't build muscle? Is it physically impossible? And he goes, dude, I had 4 chicken breasts yesterday, but I woke up today and I didn't see any muscle. And that's the same mindset that screws so many people over. When you try and focus on the next day and the results that it's going to bring, you're going to stay demotivated, because we're literally trying to change the shape of our body. Of course, it's going to take time. So my final piece of advice to you is, don't even look at the amount of time it's going to take. Don't even think about the fastest way to lose fat, because again, the time is going to pass by anyways, dude. And if you want to stay motivated, start focusing on what you're doing, the inputs, the daily quest, and you're going to get to your goal faster than you ever thought possible. I hope this is valuable for you, dude. I literally just make these videos because I want to help people like younger me lose fat faster, with less pain and with less wasted time. And then also improve other things in your life, like quitting your addictions, getting straight A's. So if you want more value just like this, go down and subscribe. And if you want, you can even book a free 30-minute value call with me. That's literally it. As always, my name's Atharv. See you soon, bro.